Oh, I don't fucking think so.
Welcome to Straight Up Reviews, where there's no bullshit beyond the site. I finally got a new mic, and the first thing I'm going to use it for is to express my continuing disappointment with Rotten Tomatoes and DC's latest movie, Suicide Squad. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. Yes, Rotten Tomatoes is owned by WB. Yes, by not rating the movies made by their company higher than their competition, it makes them look less biased despite their ownership of said company. However, just because the Warner Brothers
and their Warner Sister die
Own the site does not mean they own the critics, who time and again have, in the past couple of years, have panned DC movie after DC movie while overrating Marvel movie after Marvel movie. Not even mentioning the faults as wasting too much time on the origin and less on the villain, trying to make us side with a character we have little or no reason to side with, and trying to make Captain America look like the bad guy over and over and over again.
Despite my earlier rant ending with fuck Marvel, I don't hate the heroes themselves. I hate how much the company screws them both over yet still gets praised for it. While DC just began making up for New 52 only to get shit on when fans are mad that they don't rip off MCU often enough. Because that's the entire point, from critic to fan alike. Much of why the DCEU is even panned to begin with is because the same question is always asked over and over again. Why can't you be more like Marvel? Before I get to the movie, a little bit of education on the main differences in Marvel and DC.
DC Comics takes place in a world where becoming an idea is what matters more than any powers. People like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Justice League, the Teen Titans, and Young Justice were all about what we aspire to be like. They all have decent jobs in their civilian identity. They are well loved and well hated by civilian and villain alike. Sometimes it gets mixed up, but the entire point of them was that they are the end result of what we want to be like. It also takes place in a mostly cynical world that tries to find light at the end of the darkness. Marvel Comics took a different approach ever since Spider-Man's debut. Rather than make the characters we aspire to be like, they've made characters we can relate to. Characters with real struggles such as poverty, adjusting to war-free times and as well as war times, personal responsibilities. They, much like us, were the people that tried to be like the DC heroes above, and they live in a world that is idealistic but slowly turning cynical, seeing nothing but wrong in their actions, and the more they try to prove themselves, the more they fall into old habits, further plunging themselves into the very abyss they couldn't even look into properly.
They couldn't be more different from each other, and that's pretty much the problem. Ever since the Avengers set the standard for superhero movies, you'd either have to be a total rip-off of it, be an underrated flop, or just be lucky. Despite living in a world currently fighting for tolerance, the core reason why people hate these movies is because they are different from what they're used to watching, and that scares them. DC may as well stand for different comics. But I ramble on. I plan to review Suicide Squad, which I believe is the best movie ever made in the DCEU, much better than Batman v Superman. Hopefully Wonder Woman will top that off, but judging by the ratings so far, even if it becomes a good movie, they're going to be in another 20.
For those that don't know, Suicide Squad was a Silver Age comic in 1959, in the 25th issue of The Brave and the Bold. The first incarnation was comprised of Hugh Evans, Jess Bright, Karen Grace, and the most popular of them all, Rick Flag.
The original idea was that a group of ordinary people were tasked on taking on superpowered individuals. However, it wasn't until 1987 when the comics gained some traction, by instead having a team comprised of the deadliest villains in the DC comics.
Flag was still on the team, but the first incarnation comprised of Blockbuster, Bronze Tiger, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and the Enchantress. The team under Flag was led by Amanda Waller, head of Checkmate in the comics, and Cadmus in the DCEU.
One of Waller's most distinct advantages compared to most DC villains and government figures alike in the comics is that she knows the identity of every costume individual without them having to tell anybody. The only one that didn't back down was Batman. Now, this incarnation of the squad, known as Task Force X, has had the meaning changed compared to its original comic. In the original comic, Suicide Squad was a derogatory name for the group because, as ordinary humans, taking down superpowered individuals was suicide. Whereas in this case, much of why they do as they are told despite being the bad guys is because Waller planted an explosive device in their head that will go off the second they try to fire. Now, the movie incarnation of the squad is the same as the one in the comics with a few exceptions.
Blockbuster and Bronze Tiger do not exist and instead are replaced with Diablo, a man who has the mystical control over fire. Killer Croc, a regular Batman villain with reptilian skin, aquatic abilities, and cannibalistic habits. Slipknot, who is very proficient in rope fighting. And finally, Dr. Harleen Quinzel, aka Harley Quinn, a former psychiatrist emotionally manipulated by the Joker into becoming his girlfriend and has tried and failed to shake her off ever since.
Now here's the thing, she never started in comics. Harley was first made in the DCEU Batman series. And because she was so well loved and well received, DC Comics made her an official character in their ranks, even giving her a solo series. Much like the Joker, before this movie, she became a more prominent member of the Suicide Squad ever since. A well-known example being another movie called Batman Assault on Arkham, where she along with Boomerang and Deadshot were the only ones that knew what they were getting into.
Also joining the fray is Tatsu Yamashiro, aka Katana, whose main shtick is that she carries a sword with the power to seal the souls of all it slices into.
Much like Flag, she's the only member of the squad to not be a villain or a career criminal, though they do see her as one of them anyway, much to her annoyance. As for the story, it's rather simple. I'm surprised the critics claimed it was shoddy. It's almost like they never watched the movie or something.
After the death of Superman, the government begins to panic, and they assign Task Force X to keep the planet safe from future threats. However, during the recruiting, one of the members, Enchantress, who embodies the body of Flag's girlfriend June Foray, escapes capture, turns most of Midway City into a horde of monsters, and summons her brother Incubus in a bid to eradicate all of humanity with a mystical doomsday device.
But enough about that. How are we going to blame this one on Superman?
We could blame him for dying.
I was being sarcastic.
So was I.
Anywho, rather than get sent in to deal with the threat directly, Task Force X is assigned to go into battle toward Midway City and extract a high-profile mark from what is perceived to be a terrorist attack. Needless to say, they still fight anyway. Meanwhile, the Joker finds out what Waller did to Harley and, not one to let go of his art, gets his men to pursue her by any means necessary.
And he did it so well that the movie practically stopped midway just so he can try to get Harley back. I'm not even kidding. No monsters attacked, no worlds get destroyed yet, even though the villains have plenty of time to do it. The entire movie stops so Harley and Joker can play another game of friends versus pudding. Naturally, she chooses Mr. J.
Of course, that doesn't last long as his chopper gets shot down and Harley is left pouting over pudding. Thinking they failed in their mission, they all decide to get drunk and wait for the world to end. But when Flag reveals he planned on keeping his promise to Deadshot, he rallies the rest up and they go to carve themselves a witch. Diablo, who has been trying to find a way to redeem himself from accidentally killing his family, takes on Incubus while the squad tries to free June from Enchantress. Harley and Deadshot kill her, and in a surprising twist, compared to the previous movies, June lives.
And they hate this movie. Why? Now, I know one life being spared in a movie wouldn't matter, but in this case, when DCEU has done nothing but permanent deaths, including Superman's for the time being, it matters. That was their first step in trying to break out of the cynical world. And you butt kissers hate this movie for the same reason you hate the other two. And that's not the only reason either. When this movie came out, it was given a lower rating than they gave Batman v Superman. A person's life getting spared from all the horror, the villain possessing her rod out, and you hate it worse than Superman getting killed by Doomsday. And that's not even scratching the surface. These critics considered the overhyped, overrated controversial machine that was Ghostbusters Answer the Call a better movie than this? Simply because they expected Harley Quinn, a mental patient who has come close to killing Batman than even Joker ever would, to be a role model just because she was on a team tasked to save the world. You are a bunch of frauds. This movie may not be much, but it's a hell of a lot better than what their competitive shells out every day of any day of the week. It's got a great cast, great comedy, great action scenes, a unique story, and it's more than I can say than anything else that came out in 2016. As usual, debate, argue, and let me know what I miss. Stay tuned for more.